The wind howled through the trees like an angry spirit that night. The rain poured without mercy, turning the narrow village roads into muddy rivers. In a small wooden house at the edge of the fields lived Arif, a single father, and his 10-year-old daughter Noor. Their only companion was Rex, a loyal German shepherd Arif had rescued years ago. Arif had lost his wife 2 years earlier in a tragic accident, and since then, he had learned to find comfort in the smallest things: Noor's laughter, Rex's bark, the calm sound of rain on the roof. Life was not easy, but it was peaceful. Until that night. It was close to midnight when Rex began to bark uncontrollably. Arif sat up, heart pounding. "Rex! Kia hua," he called out, grabbing his old flashlight. The dog growled and ran toward the gate. Noor woke up, frightened. "Abu, kia hua? Tumandar hai raho, Noor." "Main dektahun," he said firmly and stepped out into the storm. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness, and that's when he saw it. A car crashed into a tree near the narrow bridge. Smoke rose from the hood, and the driver's door hung open. As he approached, he froze. Lying on the ground was a young woman in a police uniform, covered in blood, barely conscious. Her radio was broken, and rainwater mixed with the blood on her face. "Ya Allah," Arif whispered. He rushed forward, checked her pulse, faint but there. "Rex! Fetch blanket!" The dog barked and sprinted back to the house. Within seconds, Rex returned, dragging an old wool blanket between his teeth. Arif gently wrapped the woman, lifted her carefully, and carried her inside his house. Noor gasped. "Abu, who is she?" "Police officer Hai, Zinda Hai Lekin Bahut Kun Baha Hai." "Jaldi, Noor, pani or first aid box lao." For the next few minutes, the small house became a battlefield for life. Arif cleaned her wounds as best as he could with old medical supplies. Her breathing was shallow, her lips pale. He noticed a gunshot wound on her shoulder. Someone had shot her, and she had driven herself this far before crashing. Rex stood guard by the door, barking occasionally at the shadows outside. Arif's mind raced. Who could have done this? Why was she out here in the middle of the storm? Suddenly, the woman stirred. Her eyes opened slightly. "Don't trust them," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They betrayed me." Arif leaned closer. "Kia kaha tum?" But she had already passed out again. He looked out the window nervously. The road was empty, but he had the strange feeling someone might come looking for her. "Rex, stay alert," he murmured. The night dragged on. Arif stayed awake, changing her bandages, keeping the fire alive. Noor fell asleep beside Rex, clutching his fur for comfort. Hours later, at dawn, Arif heard the faint sound of engines in the distance. He went outside quietly and saw 2 black jeeps approaching from the main road, not regular police vehicles, but unmarked, tinted ones. His instincts screamed danger. He quickly returned inside. "Noor, uth jo. Tum dano chup jo storeroom main. Abu ko kuch samajna hai." Noor rubbed her eyes. "Abu, kia hua? Bas Mary bot mano." He covered the injured officer with another blanket, dimmed the lantern, and went outside, pretending to be calm. 2 men in dark jackets stepped out of the jeeps. "Morning, sir," one said with a forced smile. "We're from the city police. We're looking for a female officer. Her vehicle was found wrecked somewhere near this area. You seen anything?" Arif shook his head slowly. "No, Saab. Rat ko to tufan main dagara se nikla hai nahi." The man looked around. "You live alone? Main or Mary Beatty?" "Bas Humdano." The second man's eyes narrowed. "And that dog?" "Old guard dog, Saab. He doesn't like strangers." The man chuckled. "He shouldn't. Dangerous times." They looked at each other briefly, a silent exchange that made Arif's stomach twist. Something about them felt wrong. After a few minutes, they drove off, leaving behind a trail of dust. Arif exhaled deeply and went inside. The woman was awake now, her eyes full of fear. "They were here, they're not police," she said weakly. "They're part of the gang I was investigating. I caught one of them last week. They think I have the evidence." Arif knelt beside her. "Toya log to marnachad hain?" She nodded. "The evidence is in my car. Under the seat. A flash drive. It exposes their connection to a high-ranking officer in the force." Arif thought for a moment. He could stay quiet and let her die, or he could help, but that would mean putting his daughter in danger. He looked at Noor's sleeping face and made his choice. "Main tumhari madad karunga." The woman's eyes widened. "Why would you risk it?" Arif smiled faintly. "Muji married Beti ko sikana hai ku insaniat ubi zinda hai." That evening, when the rain stopped, Arif went to the wrecked car. Rex followed close, sniffing the air. They found the flash drive exactly where she said, taped beneath the driver's seat. As he pulled it out, Rex growled suddenly. Arif turned and saw two figures watching from the distance, the same men from the morning run. "Rex!" Arif shouted, sprinting toward the forest path. Gunshots rang out. Rex barked fiercely, knocking one man off his feet, giving Arif enough time to escape. He ran through the fields, clutching the flash drive. By the time he reached home, his lungs burned. He locked the door and slid the drive to the officer. "Ya lo. Ism tumhora sabud hai." She smiled weakly. "You just risked your life for me." Arif shrugged. "Tum bi apni zindagi lagun kuli yedov pi lagai hai. Ab meri bari ti." Rex limped back inside, a scratch on his leg but wagging his tail. Noor hugged him tight. "Hero dog," she whispered. That night, the three of them sat together, exhausted but alive. The officer, whose name they learned was Inspector Zara Khan, promised that once she recovered, she'd make sure justice was served. As dawn broke over the fields, Arif looked out at the horizon, his hand resting on Rex's head. He had no idea how deep this danger went, but one thing was certain: his quiet life was about to change forever, and for the first time in years, he felt a spark of purpose again. Movie camera narrator note: for YouTube, if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.